Hello, and welcome to Rainy Tuesdays, podcast by friends for friends. I'm Adam, and I'm here with Margot
Hi.
and Ryan.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good. It's like kind of summer. You guys said it was cold though, so never mind.
Not
I
really.
mean, it's been kind of
cold.
nice now.
It's been nice,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It was a little chilly for a few days, but
Mhm.
mostly like 70s, which has been good.
Hmm.
No rain at all, though. So,
Rude.
Really?
no rain Tuesdays here.
Dang.
Is it
We're-
different more southern Illinois?
We've been getting a lot of rain. We've been getting a lot of hail, too.
Oh,
We need to get our roof redone because a lot of hail damage.
oh, geez.
We've been getting
Shocking.
a lot of hail
Wait,
the
why?
past 2 months. Hail is
Yeah.
it does a lot of damage.
Well, no. I know what hail is and the damage it does, but why is I always thought that was I guess more of a fall and winter thing. I didn't really associate that with spring or summer.
It happens a lot with spring, I think, just
Okay.
because the change in temperatures, I would assume. I'm not a meteorologist, so I don't know
Sure.
the specifics, but
Fair
we've been
enough.
getting a lot of it this year, and we normally don't ever.
Weird.
It'll climate change.
Classic. There was one time that when I was living in the South, we would get tornadoes kind of far from us, far enough from us that the tornado wasn't the issue. It was the weather surrounding the tornado that was the issue, which is often hail. And so we would have if a car wouldn't fit in a garage, it would be kind of golf ball looking the next morning.
Mhm.
Not the whole time. Yeah.
How's everyone's summer been so far?
All I've been doing is studying for the bar exam. So, well, I am playing Mass Effect 2.
Nice. How's that been?
Studying for the bar is good. Mass Effect 2 is great.
Fair.
I don't know anything about the bar. I know a lot about Mass Effect.
Oh,
I'm pretty
man.
much in the home stretch of Mass Effect 2. I've done all the DLC. There's only a couple loyalty missions left.
Mhm. Are you also in the
Um,
home stretch of the bar?
No. I
You got,
actually looked
a
today
month.
of so I don't know how many subjects they actually test, but I'm 3 subjects down, but there's a lot. There's 10 to 12 subjects. So,
Mhm.
at the very beginnings, probably. But I think I'm making good progress in the subjects that I have done.
He's being humble and he's going to do great.
Actually finished the 4th subject today, so never mind. A little bit further than I thought.
Finish the 4th subject. Got 2 more loyalty missions left. Gonna ace that bar.
I think I have 3. I have not done Jacob's because I don't like Jacob,
Yeah.
and I'm putting off getting Legion because apparently that ticks down the
Yeah, it
clock
does.
for important missions at the end of the game that I don't want to happen yet.
Mhm. That's a weird feature in that game.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's it makes it hard for me to want to do all the missions when I'm okay, now I'm gonna be paranoid. If I do this amount of missions, then it's gonna start in I have to do this very important story mission that fundamentally changes how things are gonna happen.
Mhm.
Or at the end, it's if you take too much time to go do this thing, a bunch of people you like are gonna die.
Yeah.
So you got to get going. And you're but I want to do all the side quests.
The time sensitivity thing in games is so interesting to me. Because I feel that's not an uncommon thing that if you trigger a certain save point in a game, it's you're ending the game. Because that also even literally happens in Professor Layton's Curious Village, which I've recently been playing through.
But I think one
But,
of the things that's different is in that game, I think maybe I'm misremembering, but sometimes the game will be hey, after this point, things are gonna change.
It does give you a thing where it's do you want to actually not do this right now? It doesn't say because if you do, you're just fully gonna play through the end of the game and you have no choice. It doesn't say that, but it's do you want to go into the building or walk around town some more? And that's where oh, if I go in, I have no other choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice that they prompt that a little bit, whereas Mass Effect, it
It
doesn't
just
prompt you,
happens.
and like it's also
Ugh.
weird that's tied to a companion because then it
Sure.
starts that clock once you get that companion. Like there's no real reason it needs to be.
Yeah.
Right. hmm
I do
Um,
like the point of no return notifications in games, though.
Mhm.
yeah.
The first Mass Effect does not have a point of no return
Yes.
notification, and you are not given any warning that
Mhm.
this mission you're about to go on is the final one. Because you're just like, oh, going off to investigate this planet, probably be like all the other planets I just investigated, part of the main story. It's gonna be whatever. And they're like, no, this is it. We're ending right now. When I
Mhm.
did the first time, there were so many side quests that I had left undone because of that.
Yeah.
Sure. On the other extreme of that, my boyfriend has been playing a game called Outer Wilds. I don't know if
Oh
you
yeah.
guys know what it is. Yeah, and it's like Groundhog Day, but in space, essentially.
Yes.
Like you have
Mm.
20 minutes to like understand the mystery of like what's going on, and like every 20 minutes, essentially, the game will reset. Um, and like you'll still have all of the stuff that you learned like in your mind, I guess. And I'm sure there's like some sort of log thing that happens in the game to
Yeah.
like remind you. But like you only have 20 minutes to essentially like go through the game. Otherwise you like get swallowed by the sun exploding.
Mhm.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a cool concept.
There's
it
some
seems interesting.
there's some neat plants in that game too. Like one of
Mhm.
my favorites is there's one where it's like messing with like quantum physics, I think is what it is, where it's like
Oh,
whatever you're like everything is both around you and not around you. So whatever you're looking at is there. But if you like look back and then look at it again, it might be gone, it might still be there.
that's wild.
And so like you
Yeah.
can be on your ship, but like you need to keep an eye on your ship, like literally. Because if you look
Right.
away, your ship might disappear and you
hmm
just get
Jeez.
stranded on the
Fair. Yeah. Yeah, it seems really cool. I like played with him for one of the rounds and just like exploring different things. And that's neat. Because it also like the planets that are circling the sun are still moving in the same way
Yep.
that they would be. So like if you're not um like there's an ice planet or something, and if you're not careful, like it'll get too close to the sun and just start fully melting.
Yeah.
And it's wild. Yeah, it's cool. I don't know. All right. Speaking of
wild.
wild, you know what's wild? That wasn't the transition I was gonna go
Oh
with,
my
but it was
goodness.
probably better. Um, you know what's really wild is when people have put out a piece of media and then like a few years later they're like, just kidding, I've changed it. Um, what's that about?
I don't know.
So
George Lucas did
yeah,
a
a few
many
notable
famously,
examples.
yeah.
Yeah, George
Which
Lucas known for it.
I think there's good
Um,
ways and bad ways to do it. Like in can't think of Empire Strikes Back. Can't believe I forgot that. My favorite Star Wars movie. A lot of the changes he made in that were actually pretty good. You know, like
mhm,
make some of the asteroids look a little bit better, added some windows in like Cloud City, and
mhm,
like it looks really good. Like
right.
that adds a lot to it. Doesn't detract at all. So like that's fine. But
And it's
then
like
you've
not
got like
distracting from anything. Like it's just making each
exactly.
scene look a little nicer kind of thing.
hmm
Yeah.
But then you have like Return of the Jedi, and they add like a whole music.
My
number.
favorite Star Wars music. Not music, movie. But yeah.
Mhm.
They really go wild with the changes in that one.
They do.
To the point where there was a while because on Christmas Day, my personal tradition for myself is to alternate between 5 and 6 to like watch one each year. So like 1 year I'll watch 5 and the next year I'll watch 6 and then the next year I go back to 5 kind of thing. There was a while where it felt like every time that I was watching 6 there was something that felt different, just because it kept being different versions that I was watching, like however it ended up.
Mhm.
And that was crazy. I was like, what's happening? Um,
A surprise every time.
yeah, it's a new movie. But I feel like it's something that's been talked about a lot because you'd mentioned the possibility of them doing it with Ant-Man.
Yeah, I have not confirmed this. This was like a stray comment
Allegedly.
on Reddit that I saw. But allegedly, the CGI effects have been touched up for the Disney Plus release versus how it was released in theaters.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I just thought it was an interesting concept of like it might not have been to exactly as you wanted it for a theatrical release, but now you have some extra time to touch things up, makes things look a little bit better when it does release on streaming services or through like DVD or whatever. I had not checked if that's actually the case. I thought the
Sure.
CGI looked fine in Ant-Man, so
And I
who
think
knows?
like
But
I'm kind of okay with that though. Like to change it like immediately after its theatrical release before its like widespread release on either DVDs or streaming. Like I think that makes sense to me because it's still kind of fresh on your mind from working on it. It it makes a little more sense to me than George Lucas's like decades later being like,
yeah,
let's change
like
it.
no,
Although
wait, I have a better idea. Let's do
right.
this.
I guess you could argue for George Lucas, it's like, well, now he has better technology to work with, but like,
Yeah,
I think some of the charm of like at least the original series is like how many practical things were involved in it. That it doesn't really need technology to touch it up. But that's a complicated thing. One that I want to ask about is the Stranger Things edits. Because like it took me like a year to watch season 4. And then when I did, I was like, wow, Stranger Things is such a fun show. I should rewatch it. And something that Ryan, you had mentioned was that they changed how creepy Jonathan was. What did they change? Because the scene of him like taking a picture of her taking off her shirt is still in there.
But it's shorter and less photos.
I guess
wait,
so.
is it really? Because
It
I
is.
also rewatched.
Yeah.
I felt like it wasn't there at all. That the scene had been changed. So, like, original scene for maybe people who didn't watch anything is the Nancy, Mike's older sister, is changing in a room, and Jonathan is like taking pictures of her changing in her underwear from a distance away, very creepily. And it has made me hate Jonathan ever since. And
Yeah.
so I hate Jonathan and Nancy's relationship
Same.
together, as happens later. When I rewatched it, I thought the scene had been changed. So he's taking pictures of her when she's like hanging out with the friends, but stops when he sees that she's changing.
He still has a picture of her with her shirt off, though.
Oh.
Like, yeah, because it's like
What- 'cause
picture
there's,
of
like, a
Barb sitting
later-
alone,
Right.
and then up to the window, click, click, her shirt's off. And then
Okay.
like they have the dark room scene where he's developing them, and she's like, "What does this one say about me?" And it's her naked, not naked, but naked, you know.
Okay, I didn't watch. I only watched the first few episodes, so I didn't watch like when he is developing the pictures and she reacts to it.
I do think it is shorter. I don't think it's what the original thing was, but I'm trying to remember, like, because you had mentioned that it was creepier, like, originally, and I'm trying to remember how, because that still happened, and that was the creepiest part in my mind. And so I'm like, what was it?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of this like weird Mandela effect, except not, because it actually has changed. Like it's actually two different things, but
Maybe
I
it
can't
is
remember
just
the other
shortened,
thing.
so it's still
Yeah.
he takes pictures, but doesn't focus on it as much.
Right.
Maybe it was more of like a shot of Nancy in her underwear, shot of him looking at the photo, like
Right.
you know. And now it's just like snap, move on, focus on what matters, which is Barb.
Barb getting killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like Jonathan either way in either edit.
No, I
I've
still don't like him like
seen.
generally as a character.
Yeah. I still think he's a little creepy boy. Nothing has changed my mind on that. Yeah, people really love the like, but he's sad kind of mentality. It's like that doesn't make him hot.
You can
Um,
pass off any crime imaginable if he's just
if
sad
he's
about
just
it.
a little sad, he
Oh,
feels
he
really
committed
bad.
genocide and is really racist, but he's sad.
He
So it's all
feels.
fine.
I don't think Jonathan has done either of those things.
No, he's not.
Jonathan's just a little creepy stalker,
I'm
but he's
potentially referring
not
to other characters from maybe Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah,
Kylo.
I
My
really liked
enduring hatred of Kylo Ren.
Succession recently just ended, and episode 8 was very controversial because it's like, oh yeah, some of these characters are like Nazis.
Mhm.
And people are like, dang, I can't believe these awful people are Nazis. It's like, yeah, what you think? Like,
Didn't think your awful people were going to be that awful.
yeah. Another mini rant.
Yeah.
Succession is very much popular, especially within like the Twitter area of the internet. And so
Sure.
the later 2 seasons have definitely played into that
Oh.
and have like made
How's that?
nods to that with the characters because like I don't know, people like describe the Succession characters as like their comfort characters.
Sure.
Creepy.
And
Seems like a red flag.
I don't know,
Yeah.
there's like all sorts of edits online and stuff, and some are pretty fun. People really like the character Tom, who he's very silly. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's like all of them are bad people, and then everyone's shocked in like episode 8 when it's like, dang, they're really
still
bad
bad
people,
people,
and
yeah.
they're like actually hurting millions of people by the actions they're doing.
Right. But like, yeah, like with a show like that though, at least they've committed to the characterization.
Mhm.
Like, I think the idea of like trying to make Jonathan less creepy with an edit is like trying to change the plot, you know? Like it's trying to change who he was as a character. And I think
mean,
that's weird.
Ultimately, I feel like it doesn't matter too much on the
No.
plot. They could have removed it or never
Mhm.
had to begin with
Yeah.
and made it better. Like Jonathan still would have been kind of weird and creepy. They
Yeah.
just wouldn't have had this
Like,
extra
make it
creepy
look-
thing that
yeah.
he had done.
Yeah, like if it was just taking pictures of Barb, fine. Like where she's like
even
sitting
just
and
like
lonely,
taking pictures of Barb, but of the
Yeah.
friends like
all
playing and
hanging
messing around,
out.
like
Right.
any of that's fine. It's just
Mhm.
like that extra
It's the
step,
naked one, yeah.
which maybe it wasn't that. Like I guess we'll never know
Yeah.
unless I find like an old pirated version.
There's gotta
Yeah.
be something that like compares the two. That has to exist. But yeah, it's I don't know, it's weird. Also, like you mentioned they put bell chimes in throughout it. That I did get. Like there were some throughout it. And I also don't like the idea of them editing that in because it's like they're trying to be like, this was the plan from the start.
like,
And it so
retroactively
clearly
doing the
wasn't.
story.
Well,
Like,
here's
you
the
didn't
thing.
come up with this in the beginning.
Ever since season 2, that's been Stranger Things of like, well, actually, you thought that was
Right.
the final boss, but really it's the Mind Flayer and
Yeah.
the Mind Flayer again, and then Vecna.
But maybe not the Mind Flayer.
Right. Yeah. Like
Who
the
knows?
Mind Flayer was like just not defeated. Like it was just still the Mind Flayer is the big guy of season 3. Right.
I think so.
But he like has a better connection to this world now because he's through Billy instead of Will. And then
Yes.
like
And
yeah,
he's
and
the
then
little,
season
like,
4 is
CGI
like,
monster.
just kidding, he wasn't that bad. It was Vecna. And it's like, well, who's boss?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's on top? Stranger Things edition.
There's only one season left, right? Allegedly.
Allegedly,
And
but they
Maybe
keep
they'll be
changing
like,
that.
actually, we realized our story is just much too long to tell for one final season.
Yeah.
So
I'm
this is
waiting for
the
it.
final season part 1, and we'll just take just like Attack on Titan.
And then 10 years later, we're still getting more. Oh my god.
I just realized I started watching Attack on Titan before I was in high school. I'm not gonna finish watching it until after I have graduated with my master's.
And for half of that time, it's been the final season.
You're not wrong.
Oh my god. Yeah, but I don't know. I guess like my final take on it, and I'm curious to see what y'all's are, is like the idea of changing something to make it look a little better in the sense of like updating technology if it was a movie released super long ago, or updating it between the theatrical and streaming release. Go for it. That makes sense. Like making it a little prettier, adding some finishing touches CGI wise. Okay. But I think I'm weirded out by adding in things to make you look smarter than you are. Like, just commit to your
Yeah.
art.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't know. Or to like fully change a character. Like the man is creepy. Show how creepy he was. Because it just feels strange to be like, no, guys, see, like he and Nancy are totally a good fit. Because he,
Especially when Jonathan has become like much less of a character in recent seasons. They pretty much just
Mhm.
like thrown him to the wayside, as they've done with more than a few
all of
characters.
them,
But
yeah. He's just kind of there to
yeah.
like hug Will sometimes to remind
Yeah.
us that Will is a character.
yeah.
Like,
So it's like you don't even need to make him look better because he's not in the show anymore.
What about Steve?
I've always loved Steve. He
Steve
had a
was
great
fine.
redemption arc in the first
Literally in the first season,
and he's been
yeah.
great since. So.
Yeah, like he had character growth within that. Like, yeah, he was an 80s bully, but then he was like, I'm gonna like do actions and not just pout about it. Like, I'm gonna actually do things to improve
Yeah.
the bad that I did. Which is how you fix things. Yeah. And then he's been a babysitter and like we stand.
Yeah.
Isn't that guy
love
also
Steve.
like 30?
Yeah.
I think he is, yeah.
That's wild.
All
It's
of them are
probably
like
all
so
of
old
the
now.
cast.
That's true,
Yeah.
they're old
They're all
now.
like, yeah, early 20s.
I
Like
wonder
they
if-
were like 10. Like
I really wonder how they're gonna do the season. Because the way season
Yeah.
4 ends is like, oh man, we gotta stop the upside down.
oh my god.
Not to like so I talk about Stranger Things.
Let's
even
do
more
it.
than like up from the surface level, not about the show. But you had said that they're doing a time skip from season 4 to the alleged final season 5. But I don't understand how that's possible given how season 4 ended of
Yeah.
a very like
That doesn't
this
make
is
sense at all.
changing
Yeah.
the world, like crazy stuff is happening to be
Mhm.
like, yeah, and then we just kind of skipped, nothing much happened.
It's like
I
the
don't know.
same sort of like start to season 4 where it's like a quirky voiceover of 11 writing to Mike being like, my life's so good now. But like their town is cracked in the middle and they're just
There's
going
still
like
mysterious smoke
things are
coming
pretty
out.
okay here.
Like I can see a couple weeks,
Yeah.
maybe,
Sure.
but months. I don't
Doesn't
know.
make sense.
That just,
yeah.
especially when they're like, did 3 and then like final season 4 actually can't do one season, can be 2 seasons, part 1 and part 2. Like you think that's like, okay, you have a plan, it's one consistent story, and then if there's a time skip, doesn't seem like a consistent story. It seems like just another season.
Yeah. I don't know. I
But
don't think they
I don't know if they can
fully know
have a
what they're
consistent
doing.
story for
Yeah.
more than one season, so
I don't
maybe
know
that's
what
not
they're
possible.
Because like Millie Bobby Brown, she's 19. All the other kids are like 20,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and they're not starting filming. They're supposed to start filming in June, but that's postponed right now. And if they like don't get it done soon, then they have to push off to next year. And
Is it postponed because of the writer's strike?
Yeah.
About the writer's strike, I saw an article about Deadpool 3 that Ryan Reynolds is like forbidden from improvising because he's part of the Writers Guild.
Huh.
So he can't be involved in anything that would constitute writing.
Writing, yeah.
Which seems, if that's true and he can't improvise, why film? That seems like a fundamental feature of a Deadpool movie is to be able to
Absolutely.
do that.
Especially with Ryan Reynolds, like he is this character. Like he fully embodies him. He loves him so much.
Yeah.
Like
And if you've seen like behind the scenes like bloopers, it's
Mhm.
just their like hundreds
Riffing.
of takes
Yeah.
of jokes. Like
yeah.
you're losing so much of the movie if that can't happen. So just delay
It seems
it.
like a mistake. Yeah. I don't know, maybe pay your
Call your
writers.
studio execs and tell them to pay your writers, and then
Exactly.
get this thing on the road.
Yeah.
That's the thing,
Ugh.
is it's so much harder for them to delay it. It's like, it doesn't make sense for them to not pay, because like that way they can start filming and stuff.
Mhm.
Because like they can't delay it because they have to like order all the cameras, order the crew, get all that
Right.
like day of.
That's true.
That's
That's true.
hard to
Yeah.
just be like, oh hey, let's come back
They'll just
tomorrow and
wait.
do this. Where it's
Yeah.
like they've only got that booked for one day.
Mhm.
So I think, I don't know, stuff from like a year from now will be interesting, because like even like now talking about reshoots and stuff, there's probably gonna be lots of that to be like, hey, we need to like fix this. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at like the last writer's strike, like we didn't get like tons of good things after that. Like it
Well,
was
it killed
only
a bunch of popular
Yeah.
shows, and then it was kind of a dearth of content and a bunch of reality shows for a while. So
Exactly. And then there was the resurgence once they were back and like that cycle had completed. But it takes a while, and so that's kind of a bummer. Because in a way, like, not that the pandemic was a strike or anything, but that definitely changed content. And I feel like we've now gotten back into things being made and it like happening, and like it was on a more regular schedule, and now it's just kind of gonna happen again, like this delay, which sucks.
but hey, pay your writers.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll take.
don't take
At what point-
massive
yeah.
salaries and bonuses and just pay your writers.
It's like literally they're asking for like what 3%. Like that's nothing to these people, and like it's not a hard thing. I'm getting on a soapbox here, but like it's just it's an easy ask. That the fact that people aren't willing to comply is just selfish and shitty.
Yeah. And
yeah.
again, we talked about this before, of like so much of just the industry is geared toward short-term profits rather than long-term. It's like you've got people doing these remakes and these sequels where it's like they'll make a lot of money now, but it doesn't hold like any cultural significance at all.
Yeah.
And they want the short-term profit rather than like making more money long-term.
Right.
Mhm.
Which is a bad choice, frankly. And why I don't think I would be a really good like businesswoman, because I feel like if you told me like I have two options, one is to like steadily grow over a longer amount of time, or have like one really big burst, but that's it for a while. Like the steady one makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like consistent. We had the same talk about the
Yeah.
Red Bull thing of like, if you're just consistently doing fine, I'd be like, isn't this great? What do we need
Yeah.
to change? We're doing great.
There's,
But that's
yeah,
not
you're
enough.
there. Yeah. I don't know, business, man. But alrighty. Well, real quick, any like fun like shows or movies anyone has watched recently? Now that you guys have like, you know, not been consumed all encompassingly by studying. Sorry, Adam, because you're still
I mean,
kind of doing that.
It doesn't take up like, it takes up time, but it doesn't take up an extreme amount of time. But not really. My girlfriend's been pretty busy with work and
Sure.
other things, so we've not really watched anything. We did the Queen Charlotte, but that was
And it
a while
was
ago now.
great.
It was great. Very sad. Very good.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, not much else.
First
There's-
Bridgerton season that's been sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But wow, they did it well. You were saying, Ryan.
There's a small indie film called Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania. It's a lot of fun. Very silly.
Okay.
Perhaps a
okay.
little too silly for some people, but I
I'll
really
have to check
enjoyed
it out.
No, Barry, good TV show.
Right.
All the seasons are 8 episodes. All the episodes are 30 minutes. Doesn't
Love
waste
that.
your time.
Hell yeah.
It's just right into the point. Very good.
The sweet spot. Yeah.
Highly recommend.
I like that we're seeing a bigger number of 30-minute shows. Because I gotta tell you, the like hour and a half long episodes that sometimes have been happening lately is just a little too much at times. I'm like, oh my god. Like, especially, oh my god. I watched the second season of Ginny and Georgia because it was like there, and I was catching up on shows that I had abandoned at some point lately. And I think the second season was actually better than the first. I'll give it that. But especially the last episode, it's like an hour and a half, and I swear 20 to 30 minutes of it is sad montages of like, these characters aren't where they want to be right now. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they broke up and they're sad about it, kind of thing. And it's like, I don't need this. Like, full length songs worth of montages. And it was ridiculous. Like, just cut the time down. But yeah, the 30-minute thing, 10 out of 10. I feel like you have my attention. For like noteworthiness of that, like Ted Lasso is one of these shows where it's only 30 minutes. And I watched like the full first season this weekend. Because also it's 10 episodes. So like it was like, yeah, I can do that like over the course of a weekend, easy. But yeah, I'm moving away from hours and hours of episodes.
I sort of wish, I don't know. I sort of wish that if like your TV show, if it only needs to be like a 30-minute episode, make it only 30 minutes. If it needs to be a little bit longer, go ahead. But then I think of like The Mandalorian, and it's so inconsistent. It's like, for that show, I wish it was like 50 minutes. You have 50 minutes. Get to that point.
Right. Ugh.
Some of those episodes will be like, yeah, let's do a 28-minute episode this week. And it's like, no, there's so much more you can do.
I feel like all the Star Wars shows are like that, because that was also an issue in Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And in Boba
Andor?
Fett. Yeah.
No.
It's
all
different,
hour long, I think.
Yeah.
And all very good. You should check it out.
I've now officially seen 2 episodes. I'm working my way through.
Wonderful. You need to get to episode 4.
That's what you
The
said.
first 3 episodes are like, gotta get through.
That's fair.
But
I'm
they're good.
feeling that.
Altogether,
But yeah,
they're
it's
good.
well done. But I am feeling like the slog bit.
It's almost
Yeah.
like, because it's 10 episodes, it's like all like 3 pairs go.
Oh, good.
I feel
Yeah.
like, but we're okay.
Fair. Well, alrighty. I have questions.
Hit us.
What is y'all's favorite smell?
I don't know. Like, do you want like a Bath and Body Works scent?
Yeah, or like if there's like a food that like you love the smell of, like flower smells, whatever. Like, what's like a smell that you're like, yeah, I like that smell a lot.
I think my favorite Bath and Body Works smell is Stress Relief.
Okay, is
I
that
don't know if they
like?
still make it.
I'm assuming that's like some sort of eucalyptusy vibe.
Probably. That sounds
Okay.
right.
Fair.
Actually, there is one that I do like. It's called Pumpkin Apple. Very
Ooh,
good.
that sounds really
pumpkin,
nice.
A little bit of
Yeah,
apple. Very nice.
definitely.
Good in the fall.
Hell yeah. I'm a big vanilla kind of person. I love the smell of vanilla, and I love the smell of lavender. That's it. I like a lot of other smells, but those are the 2 that I'm like, yeah, favorite level.
We went to a fancy hotel over the week, and they gave us like bags of lavender that you could put under your pillow. And I was like, wow.
It makes you sleepy.
Fancy.
I'm not doing that, but cool. So I'm supposed to put a little
I don't need your witchcraft.
seeds under my pillow? Nah.
It's calming.
Yeah, I have slept for 23 years without a little bag of lavender. I'm not gonna change it now.
Someone's never had
Set my
insomnia, and it
ways.
shows. Oh my god. You look deep in thought, Adam.
Well, I'm also distracted because my dog is looking at me judgmentally, like, "Why are you still awake? I want to go to bed." Yeah, even though it's not even that late, he just is insane. I have a really bad sense of smell, so
That's
I don't think I have a lot of favorite smells. The one that came to mind was lavender, actually,
Mhm. That's a good
and
one.
maybe like buttery popcorn.
Mm.
Ooh, yeah, that's fair. That's good.
Popcorn is so great. If only it didn't get stuck in your teeth.
That's the worst. Like, to be punished for eating something so tasty is just rude. It's just mean.
That's
It's one of
like
those
the only
things where even if
downside.
you floss, like days later, you'll still find like something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it eludes you. All right, I think we should go around and say what each other's perfect day would look like. We should plan the perfect day for each other.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Just being able to relax, play video games for
This is
rest
the
of
opposite of what I said. I said we should plan it for each other.
it. Plan for each other.
Mhm.
All right. Mario probably plays with your cat.
I love my cat. It's a great start.
What do you? Is it cross stitching that you do?
Embroidery.
Embroidery. Doing some embroidery and then probably some baking at the end of it.
Honestly, a delight. That sounds like a super chill day. Sounds real nice. I'm thinking for Ryan, because you said you didn't want to do anything or have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's not obligatory, but people are bringing movies to you to watch.
Okay.
Like you're not having to search for
They'll
them
like
or
come
go
up to
out
my
to see
door,
them or
drop off the
anything.
DVD.
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Thank you," and then shove
They're
it in
like,
their
here you
face.
go. Yeah, but you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to thank them. They're just like, here's a movie, have fun.
They bring like the reels.
Yeah, yeah. They set it up. You have someone manually turning it. I'm trying to think what else. He's gotta have fresh sourdough made, not moldy.
Mhm.
Important.
I don't think I would ever prefer moldy.
No, but it's just that's happened to you.
It has, and it was very upsetting.
Yeah. Just remember for the opposite of that.
It was so quick too. I opened it up, and within 2 days, it was moldy. I was like, "What is this?
That's
Bread's not
just
supposed to go
rude.
like this. Actually,
No,
bread
it
is supposed to
shouldn't.
go like that, but you
Well,
add so
even
much stuff to it to preserve it."
when I make like homemade bread, the shelf life is normally like 4 or 5 days. And on the 5th day, it's like stale but not moldy yet.
Yeah.
So moldy, I feel like is like ridiculous within that many
Yeah.
days, unless it was like a particularly moist bagging. But
I'll take
I don't
stale
know.
bread.
Yeah, stale bread's
don't mind.
fine. You just gotta toast it, and then it's like good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The bread is not why I like sandwich it. The bread is just there. It helps.
I will say, bread. There's like a large like range in which it doesn't matter, and that's if it's fine, even up to great. But there's like it's easy to like ruin a sandwich with a bad piece of bread.
I don't
Like
know. Like, I think a good piece of bread elevates a sandwich where it's like, that's a good sandwich. But even like stale
Sure.
bread, I'll be like, it's a sandwich. It's all right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Adam, what's another thing for Ryan? We got bread and movies.
Video games.
Video games, honestly,
I'd probably
yeah.
just play Zelda. That's basically what I've been doing, just playing Zelda all day.
Oh man. All right. For Adam, you gotta play with your dog, but he's gonna be like really well behaved. He's
would be
not
nice.
gonna mess with you. It's just gonna be the sweetest version
Creating
of
a fantasy world now.
Okay, let's see. I feel like also like video game and movies like
Yeah.
involved in there.
Yeah.
Get early access on Spider-Man 2.
That would be nice.
Did you guys see that Venom play?
From Spider-Man 2, the gameplay with Venom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked
Oh.
cool. Looked neat. Saw a lot of people saying
I'm-
that that's what the original Spider-Man 3 movie was supposed to be, and that made me chuckle.
There's
I'm
a
very
lot of
excited for the
people
game. So.
that were upset about it, but I think it looks very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked
That
cool.
looked great.
There was
yeah.
also some very silly criticism. Well, there's a lot of like sequel games out this year, like God of War, Zelda, Spider-Man coming out, and they're like, why do the maps look the same? And it's like, I don't know, they take place in the same universe.
Yeah,
the
that
maps
just
be
makes
the
Especially
sense.
for
same.
Spider-Man, it's like, Spider-Man famously in New York City.
How much does New
famously
York
enough,
change?
Still have the New York City map.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Did you guys see the Gollum game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of memes about it. I was unaware that it was ever happening.
Never heard of
And
it.
Even though, yeah.
Still
Saw a
crazy
clip,
that
thought
it's
it was
like-
from like 2005.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. It's just crazy that that's a game that was made with any expectation that people would want it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For context, if you don't know, Gollum is a game that was released recently. Then it looks bad and apparently plays bad. Don't buy it because I think it's like $70.
I just can't, like, even in a perfect scenario, great graphics, gameplay's, fine. Why would anyone want that
Yeah.
game? Why are they like,
Yeah.
you know what the people need? They need a Gollum-centric video game. Everyone's beloved character that they love to see constantly and talk constantly. He is going to be the central character. Everyone will love it.
It's a wild choice.
Just
Ugh.
baffling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked a lot of gaming companies have had to like release screenshots talking about like, oh hey guys, sorry the game was a disappointment. We'll do better next time. That's just happened a lot this year.
Yeah.
I feel like I have been hearing a lot about like bad video games lately, or like when they release being just bad quality. And it's kind of wild to me. Like, why would you release it then? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. I've not claimed to be a gamer girl. But
It's become like a meme, like within like the
Yeah.
last month alone, like Redfall by Microsoft, the new Star Wars game isn't performing very
Yeah.
well. I've enjoyed it. I've not played it since Zelda came out,
Sure.
but like, it runs very poorly and they're trying to improve that.
Mhm.
I know Sony with like their new Last of Us multiplayer game, that's like getting delayed. The new Gollum game where they called it Lord of the Ring.
Yeah.
Darn.
They forgot the S in their
Yeah.
apology.
Shows they really care.
And they also, I love in their apology, it doesn't like, they're like, dang, we can't believe this happened. We're sorry, guys. Nothing about like, oh, we're gonna fix
We need
this or
better
this is what we're gonna do.
quality.
We're like,
yeah.
Just-
yeah, we're sorry this
Sorry.
happened. Can't believe this
Ooh.
happened. I know you guys are disappointed. Well,
Oh my god.
oh, and Overwatch as well.
Right. Yeah.
Overwatch has like fallen off a cliff since they
Honestly,
canceled PvE. Like
yeah.
the player numbers have dropped. The people like
Why
watching
wouldn't
it
it?
has dropped.
Of course. Because, like,
Crazy.
yeah, it's again just completely ridiculous to be like, we're releasing this game for this purpose. Haha, now that you've all bought it and re-downloaded it and
Just.
everything, we lied. Like, what a choice.
It's funny too because people have been taking screenshots like Twitch, the like video gaming streaming website. People like show normally it has like probably about like somewhere between like 50,000 to like 100,000 viewers regularly. It's now like tracking at about like 6,000 to 8,000.
Wow.
Sometimes even
yeah.
like 15,000
Big
if a big
drop.
streamer's on, but like
Jeez.
giant drop. And people have just
Yeah.
been taking screenshots where it'd be like Barbie, the like hidden journey, it has more players than
Right.
Overwatch.
Honestly?
Yeah.
Who was y'all's first crush without names? Describe your first crush experience, please. I don't know. Don't
Jeez.
dox your first crush. Oh man.
I don't know. What do I say?
Well, just
Yeah, I
like
don't know. It was
when was it? Like, what was like, wow, that's like, I like, when did it go from like they all have cooties to like, I don't know, I wouldn't mind those cooties.
I didn't have a crush till like 6th grade.
Fascinating.
So I don't know. I don't feel like there's a lot of interaction between the sexes pretty much until middle school. I'm
Oh,
sure that's quite different for other people, but yeah, I don't think not that I like didn't talk, or I don't think there was a sense of like those people are gross and I don't want to hang out with them. It just
right.
there wasn't any like any romance or
You hadn't had like
crushes
a
or
boy
anything.
girl party yet, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
no,
Like,
not till yeah.
mhm.
But even like in 6th grade, I feel like I had a crush more in the sense of everyone was starting to have a crush, and I felt like
Yeah.
I
Right.
needed one.
Oh, interesting.
Versus
The peer pressure
anybody that
crush.
particularly was like, wow,
Yeah.
that person. Oof.
Yeah.
I would say about the same. I think 6th grade.
Okay. Fair. I think it was probably 5th grade for me. And it was like, um, I I don't think my school had that distinctive like um a separation of like the sexes. Like I feel like every friend group had like both boys and girls in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But like um I don't think I realized until like high school when I like came to terms with like my sexuality, but I like had a crush on a girl that was my friend and I like didn't realize it. And I was like, I just have like the weirdest feeling about this like friend of mine and I like cannot describe it. And I like didn't understand that like you could fully like people of your same gender
Right.
at that point. So it was just like weird. And I didn't think about it until like 10th grade, where I was like, oh, that's what that was. But I had moved away since then, so it didn't matter.
You have like a really terrible friend breakup. That's like a common.
Oh, no. So what happened, and I like just thought about this the other like week. And it was wild to remember it. But so did you guys have safeties at your school?
I don't know what that.
Describe it, and I think yes, basically.
It was like the older kids in the schools, so in elementary school in this case, it was like 4th and 5th graders would help the pickup line so that like all of the
Oh,
kids
yeah.
could get to their
Okay.
cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We have that.
So we were both safeties. And we were on the hill of Bluegrass Elementary, 'cause I went to school in the South. And like wild that they let 2 like 5th graders just be on like a hill alone, like with a bunch of cars passing by and like no adult supervision. But our job was one of us had a walkie-talkie and we would like call in the numbers on the cars to be like, this number is coming to get their kid. And then one of us had like a paper that you would write the numbers. So it had like double security that these numbers would get like called inside to get the kids. Because the logistics of the safety really matters in this situation. It doesn't. But we were both on the hill, and so we would be hanging out and talking and everything like that. And like joking around, especially as like the pickup time would come to a close and there were fewer cars to like, report or whatever. So like there was this one day we were joking around and somehow like I think I was like making a face and kind of like pursing my lips out like kind of thing like something weird, and she was like oh my god, putting her hand out, and somehow I kissed her hand, and it wasn't like an intentional thing and it wasn't like a mwah, it was just that my lips touched her hands, and in my mind it was like I just kissed her hand. I was just like freaking out about that. But that weekend we were going to Dollywood together because again, I grew up in the South. So Dolly Parton's theme park, which I stand by being one of the best theme parks.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So we were going to Dollywood together. And I just remember being riddled with anxiety and we were in the back seat of her parents' car, and I had my iPod Touch, and I wrote out this lengthy like apology in the Notes app to be like, I'm so sorry that that happened. I didn't mean to make like it awkward. I don't even know like what happened. I was just like so apologetic, and she was like, it was literally fine. I'm not even quite sure what you're talking about. And so like no big fight or anything, but me just clearly having a bunch of weird feelings and not knowing what they were.
Right.
And then like her just being like, huh? What? Yeah. And then I moved. Got out of
And
there
never
before it
saw
got
them
weird.
again.
Honestly, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think like elementary school crushes are so fun, or like even early middle school ones, because they're like so not real. It's like just your first introduction to like feelings that aren't like just friends or family. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I have been going through like all my old grade school stuff just because I'm trying to
Yeah.
clean stuff out before I move out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm finding like all sorts of weird fun things.
Wait, like what?
Well, just like it's weird because I remember some of the things and there are other things I don't remember. So I remember in kindergarten I got in trouble because I drew a whole notebook page of like a Star Wars battle. I was like, it looks pretty good. I remember at the
Amazing.
time, and I looked at it
Yeah.
again and I was like, that was pretty good. It was pretty accurate.
Hell yeah.
Lore accurate.
George Lucas can't change that from your
Exactly.
mind.
I was like, you know what? Kindergarten Ryan knew Star Wars then, as he knows it now. But man, was my spelling bad, and I did not figure out what spacing was.
Oh yeah.
It's so hard to read my old writing because
Same.
like I don't know how to spell, and I'm like, where does one word end and another one begin? But then like fast forward, I found like some of my spelling tests from like 5th and 6th grade, and I was like, let's see like how I would do.
Mhm.
And I missed discussing, how to spell discussing.
Okay. Hard
Apparently
word.
it has 2 S's in it, and I was like, I still spell this one wrong. So like, you know
Yeah.
what, Ryan? That's no big deal.
He's doing pretty well, yeah.
Yeah. You can take that 95. It's okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But there,
Spelling
I
was
was like,
never my strong suit in
Yeah.
like elementary school kind of thing. Like
I was just
still
looking at
isn't.
some stuff, and I was like, dang, I've not changed at all.
I love that. No
I
growth
think,
here.
yeah, my spelling is still trash. I've gotten better with spaces, but holy cow, my handwriting is still unlegible.
Oh man, I know someone who's getting a tattoo of like someone else's in their life handwriting, like a few other people, and one of them is just the worst chicken scratch. And they were like so sad because they asked like all these like important people in their life to like write out a little sentence kind of thing. And it was just this one that looks so bad. And she was just like, I guess that's what I'm getting tattooed on me.
Oh, I would be like, hey, I just want to be able to read it.
Right?
Take just a little bit more time, really like, not enunciate, but enunciate written.
Yeah, enunciate your writing. Oh my gosh. Absolutely fair.
I found one that says, my least favorite fruit is broccoli, which I spell BROCLE.
Honestly, how it should be spelled.
As it should be.
How it sounds.
And I still don't like broccoli.
Cooked broccoli, though, is so good.
It is, yeah.
And uncooked, if you dip it in ranch, great.
Totally fine. Most things, if you dip it in ranch, is totally fine.
That's fair.
But, yeah, I don't understand raw broccoli as a concept, though. I'll just go ahead and say that as a veteran vegetarian.
I mean, I don't think raw broccoli is bad. It's just
I just think it's like its worst form.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, why would you do that to people? It doesn't take that long to cook, even.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Okay, what was like a project from either elementary school or early middle school that you remember doing? Like we had a create a creature project where we had to like fuse two animals together in a creepy little mad scientist like way and explain why if these two animals were fused together evolutionarily it would be better for them. And I don't remember what I fully did. I just remember it was like part platypus, part something else. And like yeah, and because Phineas and Ferb. But
Right.
like we had to like make a model of it and everything, and that was fun. But I just remember someone else had a creature that its tongue was like a weapon or like a defense mechanism. And this kid who I sat next to, who had not said a word all year, quietest little guy, just kind of under his breath, but looking at me a little, said, "Does that mean everyone was tongue fu fighting?" It was the funniest thing I'd ever heard. Oh man.
Congratulations, Random Kid. You told one of the best jokes, and almost no one heard it.
Yeah, it was just for me.
Uh,
Oh
I,
man.
for some reason, saved all my big projects, which I don't know
Okay.
why, and I threw out many of them. One was the human body, which was life size, I guess 8-year-old life size Ryan.
Mhm.
But the thing was falling apart. Like it had rubber bands around it, and it completely dry rotted.
Oh, sure.
There was a sculpture of what I wanted to be when I grow up, which was an engineer, and I was like,
There
dang,
you go.
I got that one right.
You should have kept that
I
one.
found something from 8th grade that said, in 10 years, I want to be an engineer working, and you know what? We're on track.
Hey!
Yeah.
Look at that.
What else did I find? There was one where I made an atomic bomb. I actually have this one. Hold
Okay,
on.
hang on.
They're just gonna pull out a nuke.
I'm gonna have to censor the podcast video version for weaponry.
Okay, so I built the plane.
Okay, what?
Okay.
Hang on.
For
Cool.
viewers, this is the Enola Gay, which was a B-52 Superflying Fortress, and this is what the atomic bomb looked like. And so I built both of these in 8th grade.
I have two thoughts.
Those are
One,
very
that's
cool.
wildly impressive.
Yeah.
Like that looked really, really good. I highly. It sounds like you just crashed it.
Oh yeah, it's really bad.
Okay, fair. One, I highly recommend if you're an audio listener only, tune into Spotify or YouTube to look at the video version of that because that was really cool. But also, the atomic bomb looked like it had Charlie Brown shirt on.
Yeah, that's what they had like decorated it with because they
Really?
didn't know like how to decorate it really.
That's a delight.
Surprised they decorated it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's something that needs an arts and craft.
It's like a bomb. It's probably don't need to decorate it.
It's temporary art. Oh man, but very, very cool. I love that.
I'm like, I did a whole project on like Los Alamos and like them making the atomic bomb, the Manhattan Project, all that.
Sure.
And so I'm interested to watch Oppenheimer because I wonder how like accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Coming out soon. How about you, Adam? Fun projects.
There's a couple that I'm recalling off the top of my head. We did a like state fair where each kid was assigned a state and had to make a little, not a diorama, but a similar concept of like shoebox, but then on top was like a sculpture of famous parts of the state. So I had California.
Okay.
I remember being very like the states that the popular states like California, New York, and Illinois were like you had to enter a contest to prove that you would be good enough to do it. And I won, so pretty fancy there.
Look at him go.
I don't remember. I don't know if it was that good, but it was kind of fun. I don't think I have that anymore. But what I do have was we had to do a like another diorama, this time an actual diorama, and then we did like an animal project, and I did I want to say a king cobra, and I made it out of Legos to have as my diorama, and I still have the.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Which looks pretty good for making it myself based on nothing.
That's really, really fun. Like that a lot. Yeah.
Other diorama I made in 6th grade was Big Ben. I like built it out of wood. Used to work for a while, and the motor broke.
It worked. Oh my
Jeez,
god.
much
What
more
do you?
elaborate than
Okay,
anything I just talked about.
8th grade Ryan was a liar because he already had been an engineer for years at that point.
I looked at my
Like-
report cards too. I've saved some of those, and I trashed like basically all those because I was like, Ryan's getting B's here. Where are the A's at?
Oh my gosh. Very fair. When I went to live in Gettysburg, I feel like so many of the projects were just entirely Civil War based.
No, I'm sure.
Like, yeah, there was like this dress up thing where we had to like wear either dresses or uniforms from the time period and like cook hardtack or something. I don't know. But like, there was that. There was like a video project on some of the monuments. Like, it was just all so centered around that. And I feel like the problem with living in a significant war town is that like you don't learn much other history unless you intentionally try to. But if you just take like the normal
What else
classes,
matters?
like I feel like I didn't learn American history in general, even like not even just the normal American experience of only learning American history. It was like only learning the Battle of Gettysburg for years in history until maybe the last 2 years of high school where I was taking college classes. Like, yeah,
I had a very similar experience in some ways, and
sure.
Adam might relate in some ways. From Illinois,
Mhm.
state of Lincoln, so a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
it is Lincoln. But even more
Mhm.
so me, because I'm from where Lincoln
like baby Lincoln.
lived.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, baby
Yeah,
Lincoln was
I-
from Kentucky,
Oh, I lied.
and then he moved to like my area, like Central Illinois. Like there's so many Lincoln spots. So, like anywhere Lincoln went, they'll be like, "Wow, look at the site that like Lincoln hung
Same
out a
in
park here
Gettysburg.
once."
Oh my god. We still have the stage from his Gettysburg Address, and it's just kind of bad. I'll say it.
But like every year we do a field trip of like something Lincoln, like Lincoln's tomb, Lincoln's museum, Lincoln's house, where Lincoln worked at.
Oh my god.
The
we
church
did not
Lincoln
have
got
it anywhere
married
near
at.
that bad.
Oh man.
That's a little obsessed.
Yeah. I don't know. I can tell you all about the battle, though. All 3 days of it. I can tell you every military move. If you ever need military advice, I have very specific lines of defense just burned into my head. Oh my god. Okay. Probably
we
wrapping
do-
up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What rained on y'all's parades?
I have a quick tech one because it happened today. Actually, I'll probably do two.
Okay.
One I told right before we started, so no news. First, tech thing. My Google Drive is just not working at all. Every single document on my computer. On my phone, it works fine. On my computer, every single document refuses to load. So
Weird.
I don't know what that's about, and I am not a fan.
Fix it,
Google
please,
Drive.
Google.
I
Yeah.
complained about your new layout, so maybe you like. There's an
It was
update that-
targeted.
Yeah, they heard me and they were like, "We're screwing this kid over."
He's
bad for
gonna
business.
wish for that new layout.
I have 2 questions. One, what browser were you?
In Google Chrome.
Okay. And then were other websites lit?
No, only Google Drive was open because it wasn't working, so I shut everything else down. I actually restarted my computer, then went back and it still wasn't working.
Okay, never mind. Chrome has been having issues. Chrome, for some reason, takes up a lot of memory. If you look at like the task manager, whenever it gets overloaded, it will just stop loading web pages. And so you'll have to like completely shut down Chrome and then restart it or like update. Because I had that issue too, but also it could just be that drive is being weird.
Yeah,
Classic.
it might just be weird. But my other one is we have a puppy, 5 months old now, I believe. So we were playing this game, which you guys didn't know about, but hopefully some of our audience does, called Pit, where you trying to get like I think 8 or 9 of a kind of a suit. They're all like farm product themed, by trading with other players, and it gets kind of hectic because you're constantly like two, or three, trying to trade like in pairs with other people to get your kind, and everyone's screaming, and it's very chaotic. Our dog could not handle the chaos because he kept trying to like jump up on the table to see what was going on and eat the cards because people were throwing them around and everything. So we'd be like yelling, screaming, and have to pause to shove our dog off the table and then get back to yelling and screaming to try to trade. It just made like complete extra chaos, and it was very funny.
I maintain that that's a net positive. I think he added to the game.
It was like an extra obstacle to our win.
Beautiful.
I also lost my voice during it, which made it extra difficult.
Oh no.
So I had 2 extra handicaps.
Yeah.
But I still won. Not every time. I won a couple times.
Okay. Fair. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I had a good time this past week. This past weekend though, I did a little cookout with some friends, which was very nice. Made some grilled veggies. I like grilling veggies because I feel like I can participate in things. When everyone's standing around a grill, I can be like, yeah, I'm turning something too. It's kebabs. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a delight. Nothing too fancy. Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
I've been apartment shopping actually on last Tuesday at Chicago.
Oh, nice.
How's it going?
Pretty good. I like going in person because I can eliminate the ones as this one's not great.
Oh yeah.
There was one that was, I don't know. There was just like the hallways were so giant for no reason.
No, but that's good because when you're moving in and everything, and when people are walking through the hallway as an apartment liver,
but even like
for the past
hallways you wouldn't like ever go down and stuff. It was just like there's I don't know, a lot of waste of space. Like the grounds around were very nice, but it's like that just seems like a waste of space. Why are you doing all this landscape where no one's gonna walk?
You might.
I don't know. But there's one of the places also like. It was the last place I've looked at, and I think I've probably looked at 9 at this point.
Oh, wow.
I was like, hey, when I apply, do I need like income or can I just use like my offer letter? And everyone's been like, oh yeah, offer letter is fine as long as it says the salary. That's great.
Right.
That's perfect. And they're like, no, you need like active income.
Wow.
And I was like, oh. Dang.
Oh yeah. I'm having that concern too of like, I don't even have an offer letter yet. So I'm like, just trust me, I will make money.
Right.
I was like, well, I have my income from my college job, but what I made in a month was not even half the price of rent here. So
yeah.
Fair.
Rent is so expensive.
Yeah.
In Chicago
especially area. Yeah, I was gonna say like y'all are both looking in a very, very expensive area on top of rent just being expensive in general nowadays. Like, yeah. It's got to be a whole lot.
You'll probably have a little bit easier time finding. My girlfriend and I are because of how we want to do commute. I have to be right by the train station so I can walk to it, which kind of hamstrings us on expensive ones. So like our lowest that we're finding is probably $1,500 a month.
Okay.
Which is oof, but more likely like $1,800.
Gotcha. Yeah. Fair.
The one I am looking at is at 2,200.
Oh, that's so bad. We set a cap, like nothing above 2,000.
I can't find anything that's like not bad under 2,000.
Really?
Oh, lordy. Fair.
I guess I don't know much about the area that you're in of how expensive it is. I thought the places like we're looking at north suburbs, which are some real bougie ones. So I was expecting some really bad, but I don't know. We set to go to apartments.com and like max 2,000, and then it really limits what the options are.
I did that too.
Right.
I think actually the one I'm at would be 2,000, but I'm going with the 2,200 one because it's got a little office space.
Oh, that's very
Nice.
nice.
I
Yeah.
was like, that would be nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Office.
Yeah. That's a light. Well, alrighty. You know, don't change your work unless there's like a good reason to do it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the moral of that was.
You know, look at your old work. I
Look
think
at
there's
your
a lot
old
to be
work.
learned. I looked at my old work and I
Mhm.
was like, wow, I've not changed at all. I'm very set in my ways.
Yeah, if you reminisce, actually, you know what? There is a theme. This was all intentional.
Reminisce
This
and
wasn't
learn.
just off the cuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Think
don't
back
learn.
on what
Be like,
you've
wow,
done.
you're already great.
Yeah. Either like, you know, get as good as you can early on and then just stay good forever, or start off bad with a creepy little guy and just commit to that and then just try to show growth afterwards, but don't try to lie about there being a creepy guy in your show. All right, have a sunny Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.